Sahanau bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Welcome to all of you to this retreat. Yesterday we started our camp by bringing the Padukas of Puja Gurudev from the museum, Chinmaya Jivan Darshan, to our Shruti Mandir. Do you know what is the symbolic meaning of bringing Padukas? It is to say that everything that we are doing here in this camp, that is under the watchful eyes of Puja Gurudev. The discourse, the listening, the meditation, whatever it is, everything is happening under his watchful eyes. It will take some time by the time they adjust it, but we can keep going on. The topic for this retreat is Maneesha Panchakam, and the title we have given is Vedanta in a Nutshell. Now many of you might be wondering, I am totally new to Vedanta. If I directly have to start with Vedanta in a nutshell, would it be a steep curve? Somebody might say, I have studied Vedanta for several years. Now to listen to Vedanta in a nutshell, it seems too easy. I remember there was one great scholar of Vedanta who was invited to give a talk. His title was the same, Vedanta in a Nutshell. He came to the audience and he said, how many of you know what I am going to tell you? How many of you know what I am going to tell you? Nobody raised their hand. Again he asked, do you know what I want to tell you? People said, no, we don't know what you want to tell us. He said, all of you have no background, no point in talking about Vedanta in a nutshell. Went away. The organizers got upset, They said, we invited him and all of you said no, that is why he went away. We will call him again. Next time when he asks, say yes. So same speaker they invited. He said, do you know what I want to tell you? Everybody said yes. We know what you want to tell us. We said, if you already know, what am I going to tell you? He went away. Organizer said, what to do? We want him to talk. So they said, half people say yes, half people say no. Third time he came, same question he asked. What was the question? Do you know what I want to tell you? Half said yes, half said no. He said, those who said no, ask on the people who said yes. So organizers told all the people, next time when he comes, don't say anything. Just be quiet. And when he asked that question, this time nobody spoke. He said, now you are ready for Vedanta. Vedanta is such a beautiful topic. You can take one word and go as deep as we want. At the same time, if somebody is starting new, it's a beautiful text to start with. So Maneesha Panchakam has that beauty to it. So his main message was, listen with an open mind. Whatever we have studied, we can always reflect more. And if it is totally new, then you can get started with Maneesha Panchakam. The word Maneesha has two parts to it. One is the word Manas, another is called as Isha. Maneesha literally translated means conviction. What is that conviction which rules your mind? Isha means to rule, Manas means mind. What is that conviction which rules our mind? This question is being asked to Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, who is the author of this text, Maneesha Panchakam. In 5 verses he says, what is his conviction about non-dual truth? What is his conviction about non-duality, the supreme truth? This Chandala who is there, he asks Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. The story we will see later, but we are just trying to see the word Maneesha. He says, out of all the compositions you have done, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he says, what is your final conviction about the absolute truth? That essence he presents in 5 verses. And this Maneesha is such, it's an art or an ability one has to cultivate. Maneesha means to think about a topic, systematically reflect on that topic, and come to a conclusion, which our mind finds so difficult. Any topic for that matter. If you give a topic to this mind and say, you have to think on this topic, children will have to be taken out. Okay. There is a green room, they can play there, otherwise it disturbs the whole group. All of us have our Maneesha. They have their Maneesha convictions. So this ability of the mind has to be cultivated. Taking a topic, systematically reflecting on that topic, and being able to come to a firm conviction. That art who has cultivated, that person is called as Manishi. Manishi. In Shiva Sankalpa Suktam, that word comes. Yena karmanya paso manishino. Manishi means who? One who has the art, one who knows the art of coming to a conviction. Our mind otherwise, it has been given this ability to think, but it is hard for this mind to systematically think. If you want to try, take one chaupai, Hanuman Chalisa, whichever chaupai we know. Bhuta pisacha nikata nahi aave, Mahabhira jab nama sunave. Now say, if I have to speak about this chaupai for 20 minutes, what are the points I can think about? Only one chaupai, or take any chaupai. Within 2 minutes, mind flies off. It will go to some topic, it will again go to some other topic. What is for lunch? Where have I come? And then suddenly it will come, I thought I will reflect upon this chaupai. Although this mind has the ability to think, it has the ability to analyze, this mind has to be trained to systematically think. The one who can do that, that person is called as Manishi. So here the Maneesha is not about any worldly topic. Because in general, about worldly things, we are very good. Our mind works very well. We can analyze very thoroughly. And we can systematically conclude so that we can make a decision about that topic. But if somebody says, what is your conviction about the truth? What is your conviction about the supreme reality? About that topic, it is said we have to systematically study and systematically think through it. So the Maneesha which is spoken here is about that absolute consciousness, absolute truth, that Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is going to elaborate. How many of you attended Praman Vichara when we covered that before? Some of you did, right? Or you have studied somewhere else, Praman Vichara. In Praman Vichara, there was a word called as darshan. Darshan means what? How do we look at things? Life presents different situations in front of us, but not everybody looks at it the same way. The lens through which we look at life, that is called as our conviction, our darshan. So this Maneesha is similar to that darshan. How do we look at things in life? And what is our perspective towards different situations in life? Those things Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is going to elaborate. Before we enter the text, some background of Vedanta. Human beings, we are blessed with this ability to think. Right? We just now saw it. Maneesha is available only to human beings. Animals are not blessed with this ability to analyze. Their life is more driven by nature. Next to our ashram, we have many horses. So from my room, I can see all of them. And I notice them, it's so interesting to see how they live their life. One thing is, they're least concerned about what is going to happen next. Anxiety level, if you see in animals, it is very less. Because majority of their life is taken care of by nature. Whatever is needed is provided. When it comes to food, whatever food the animal needs is provided. When it comes to clothing, shelter, it doesn't have to worry about any of those needs. Everything is taken care by Mother Nature. That is why animals are called as Prakrutika Yoni. Prakrutika Yoni means that species whose needs are taken care of by Prakriti. Prakrutika Yoni means that. No to-do list, no anxiety, nothing. It is so happy just by itself living its life. But for human beings, Bhagavan says, I will only provide raw material. The fulfillment of needs, he says, will come through our effort, which is called as Purushartha. Needs of human beings, Prakriti only provides raw material. It doesn't directly provide to fulfill our needs. True or not? Human beings. Now our rishis, they have analyzed even this topic. They said the efforts that we have to put, it will more or less fall under 4 categories. This is what we call as 4 Purusharthas. Purushartha word, have you heard before? Some might not have. Artha means effort. Prarthana means what? You are putting forth effort to pray to the Lord. Artha means effort. Vidyarthi means putting forth effort to get Vidya. Like that there is Purushartha. Putting forth effort to get 4 things. The first thing that we want is Kama Purushartha. First is not Moksha Purushartha. All of us start our life with Kama Purushartha. What is Kama we will see. To fulfill Kama, we need Artha Purushartha. Kama cannot get fulfilled by itself. Resources are needed, wealth is needed to fulfill Kama Purushartha. When both these are done, person realizes just by doing Kama and Artha, agitations of the mind have not gone away. So he says, if I am anyway going after Kama and Artha, is there any intelligent way to do it? By which I can have prosperity outside, but also peace inside. When he starts getting this question, third Purushartha is introduced, which is called as Dharma Purushartha. Dharma Purushartha. We'll elaborate each one, but just we'll appreciate the connection. First, we always start with Kama. And you don't have to take my words. Think how we started our life. Whatever projects we took in life, they were to fulfill certain needs. Kama Purushartha. For that, we needed resources, Artha. Then some satsang happened. We heard from somewhere. Dharma Purushartha was introduced. And then finally, with Bhagwan's grace, this person comes to fourth Purushartha, which is Moksha Purushartha. Now let's appreciate each one individually. It's there in your discussion question also. You can reflect more. See, our point is not to discuss only Dharma, Artha, Kama. What we are trying to reflect here is, how does a person come to Moksha Purushartha? What is his journey like? Where did he start? How did it take him further? And then how did he really come into Moksha Purushartha? In Kama, there are different types of desires we start with. One type of desire is what we are all very familiar with, that is basic needs. Food, clothing, shelter. Basic needs. Now, Kama includes all of that. Whatever desires we have, even for sustaining this life, that is also called as Kama. And we realize this is not the only layer of Kama that we have. This is the first preliminary one. Basic needs which are fulfilled. Once that is done, you have something on top of it. We seek security. Right? We seek security financially. We seek security health-wise. With this pursuit only, all infrastructure is created. Hospitals you take, entire financial system that we have, everything is for this Purushartha only, to get security in and through those resources. First one was, you can call it as physiological needs. Food, clothing, shelter, physiological needs. Second one is security. Security in those things that we have. Third one, in addition to both these, is we seek love and we seek good relations. That is something different than just having a good house, good car, or also having a stable economic security. It's a different need to seek for good relations, good friends. You can call it as emotional need. First one is physiological, second one is security, third one is emotional. And it is said, in addition to all this, one more layer is there, which is called as recognition. After a person has everything, he wants to be recognized. In Sanskrit, the word is yasha. Yasha word means that recognition is one of the needs that a person has. But the only difference is, how does he seek it? Our scriptures say, yasha will come when a person gives things. Yasho me gatam dikshu danah pratapat. Gurvashtakam we chant it. How does yasha come? It comes by giving danam. Danam means what? Giving something back to the world. If there is somebody who is a very established business person, let us say, his name will be there. But let us say every week he takes out 2 hours for the community. 2 hours only in a week. Does something without expecting anything back in return. His yasha will be much more. What he is seeking Bhagavan Shankaracharya says yasha comes through giving. So these 4 things will fall under Kama Purushartha. Kama Purushartha, these 4 things is seeking. The first one was psychological. Second is security. Third is emotions. And the 4th one is recognition. Now because he has these desires, these kamanas are there, he seeks Artha Purushartha. Artha means resources to satisfy these needs. To a certain extent, greater the Artha, better is the fulfillment of the first 2 needs. Greater the resources, food, clothing, shelter can be taken care of, better. Security we can have, here also there is a camera. Did you notice? Behind there is one. Everything we can take care of through resources. But even there he feels, unless the Artha is gained through the righteous means, he cannot really enjoy that Artha. Somebody like Dhritarashtra, he tells Vidurji, after doing everything to the Pandavas, sending them to the forest in the erroneous way, he says, I am unable to sleep at night. That is the indication of, even while fulfilling Artha, Purushartha, one has to bring Dharma. Without Dharma, he says, Artha Purushartha will not take us too far. It will hit us even more when we come to the 3rd need. What was the 3rd need? Emotional. You will have to take a little bit of notes. Otherwise, study group will be blank slate. And when I ask also, it will be all clear. 3rd one was emotional need. He realizes no matter how much Artha we have, it doesn't have anything to do with emotional needs. With money, we cannot buy even one good friend. Money cannot assure good relationships. Artha cannot assure good sambandhas. Bhagavan Rama tells Sugriva in Ramcharitmanas, if you have one good friend in life, consider yourself blessed. Only one good friend. And what is definition of one good friend? He says one who can make 1 into 2. Means he has split himself into 2 people. How he would treat himself? In the same way he treats the other person. Like that, if you have found one good friend, Bhagavan says you should consider yourself blessed. This is where the 3rd Purushartha is introduced, which is called as Dharma Purushartha. Majority of our life goes in understanding what is Dharma, but most importantly, living Dharma. In Vishnu Sahasranama, there is one verse which comes, Acharat Prabho Dharma. Acharat Prabho Dharma means what? Dharma increases through conduct. Dharma doesn't increase through preaching. Dharma doesn't increase, or dharma doesn't grow only by speaking. Dharma really grows through conduct. So majority of our life goes in increasing Dharma Purushartha, but by understanding what is Dharma in the right context. All of you are with me so far? 2 Purusharthas we covered. Dharma Purushartha, in simple words, living a life of values. Living an uncompromising life of values in the most difficult circumstances. That is called as Dharma. Living a life of values even in the most difficult circumstance, that is called Dharma. One of the favorite example, which I like, heard from Guruji, Yudhishthira also. There was one Swamiji who was giving valedictory address to his students. His only message to his students was, no matter what happens, never raise your voice. That is your dharma as a student. No matter what happens, never raise your voice. The student said, oh teacher, I'm going to go out in the world. I'm going to have so much of interaction. So many things will be there around. Even if somebody gets on my nerves, should I still not raise my voice? Teacher said, it is for that day only I'm giving this instruction. Meaning dharma is not practiced when everything is fine. When it is all conducive to speak the truth. It is very easy to speak the truth. But when there is a difficult situation, whenever we are late somewhere, and they ask us, why were you late? That is when our dharma gets tested. I'm just giving one example, but we should see in all facets. Whatever we have accepted as a value, uncompromisingly living by that value is called as dharma. And that dharma has so much power that this person gets a new personality altogether. So, insignia of a dharmic person. How does a dharmic person look? External indicators are only one facet. Does he wear chandanam? Does he wear vibhuti? Does he dress in particular way? All that is part of external appearance of dharma, which is important. But according to Vedanta, insignia of a dharmic person is slightly different. One indicator of a dharmic person is his life is filled with faith. His life is soaked in shraddha, because nobody can practice dharma if you don't have faith. Any value for that matter, you will not get quick results. If we say, I am going to be sincere from today, the result of that sincerity is not going to come tomorrow. So a dharmic person is somebody who has that shraddha, that if I have put in my best, Bhagwan will take care of the rest. The one who has this conviction, that person is called dharmic person. Here you can see the example of Yudhishthira. In spite of doing so many things, or in spite of being subjected to so many things by Kauravas, what is his conviction? What is the tagline of Mahabharata, by the way, in Sanskrit? Yato dharma? Yato dharma tato jayah. But there is a previous line also. Yata Krishna tato dharma. That is also important. Only if you hold on to dharma, this person will break down very quickly. Because he is not seeing the result. And what is the conviction that he gathers? In today's world, dharma does not work. And he will quote Chanakya Niti also. Straight trees are the one which are cut first. You have to be a little bit crooked. Chanakya Niti, one shloka is there. That is not in this context. This person is somebody who says, dharma is so powerful that if I can live a life of values, there is nothing that can go wrong in my life. The one who is taking care of this life, he is the most powerful one. And it is his job to protect dharma. Yato Krishna, tato dharma is that part. Dharma will be protected by Bhagwan Krishna. My job is just to do my dharma. Means hold on to values uncompromisingly. What will happen to me by holding on to those values, this is that I don't have to worry too much. Okay? This is one insignia of a dharmic person. What is it?
Faith.
Life filled with faith. Tuma rakshaka kahu ko darana. Life having that kind of shraddha. Second insignia of a dharmic person is he has a beautiful mind. If dharma is related to values, that mind which is filled with values has to be beautiful. He is able to come out of situations on the strength of that beautiful mind without getting caught up in situations. Now we teach so many values, right? In Bal Vihar also we teach, to children also we teach. But if you notice, one of the beauty of value is, when that value is there, mind is beautiful. We don't have to do anything separately to make a beautiful mind. It's only the ability to practice that value. We'll take one value for example. You can discuss it more. Let us take forgiveness, kshama. Kshama is one value, right? We teach in 12th chapter, Bhagwan says, that is one of the indicator of my devotee. The one who can forgive very quickly. One forgiveness is like Bhagwan Rama. Kaikeyi did so many things to him, but when he comes back to Ayodhya, the person whom he meets first is Kaikeyi. Kausalya ji is standing, Sumitra ji is standing, and Kaikeyi is standing. The first person Bhagwan does pranams to is Kaikeyi. Now that is the epitome of forgiveness. If not that, at least the second type should be there, which is Lakshmanji's type of forgiveness. He is at least able to let go of that thing and not keep that repeating the same thing in his mind over and over again. That is called as the quality of kshama, forgiveness. The one who is able to practice this, who is a dharmic person. How does he look externally? That is secondary. Is his life filled with shraddha? And is he able to practice values and have a beautiful mind? Now remember, all this is guiding his Artha Purushartha and Kama Purushartha. Means even while he is striving for Artha, he doesn't let go of values. That dharma becomes his guiding force. That is his lane assist. In car we have, right? It keeps you on track. That is this Dharma Purushartha. It keeps his Artha and Kama in check. Keeps Artha and Kama on track. The last insignia of dharmic person is somebody whose life has become independent of objects. He does not overly depend upon objects. That is a blessing he has received by living a life of dharma. If something is there, well and good. If something is not there, it doesn't make him helpless. So one indicator of dharma is how much of introvertedness this person has got. Goswamiji says, dharmate birati jogate jnana. If somebody says, I have lived a dharmic life, the result of dharmic life should be he is getting vairagya from the world. Vairagya, don't feel afraid of that word. One Mahatma ji very beautifully said, Bhagwan Raman Maharshi ji, he said, what is vairagya? Vairagya, he said, is sitting in a boat and going in water, but not allowing the water to come inside the boat. Means we'll have to live amidst things, amidst objects, not allowing that object to preoccupy our mind. If that much we can accomplish, I said that is insignia of dharmic person getting vairagya. No object should keep this mind preoccupied. If this much is there, then Artha Purushartha, Kama Purushartha will be in the right perspective. Because many a times we have this question, if I become spiritual, what will happen to my everyday life? I have to work, I have to do so many other duties. On one hand, you are telling us to be desireless. On the other hand, our work demands us to be outgoing, to be having more and more goals. But our scriptures, they have thought through it, they say, even those goals have to be in light of dharma. And now you see, every single day Bhagwan gives so many opportunities to practice dharma. Whenever we interact with people, he says here, whatever values you have accepted as your convictions, practice it now. Either at workplace or in family setting. Whatever qualities are mentioned in Tattva Bodha, right? Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Grahastha Ashrama will bring everything to us, including Vairagya. Including Vairagya. As long as we go through it with Sadhaka Bhava. We go through that phase as a seeker, then all these things will come to us. And prosperity also will be in the right perspective. See, in Ramcharitmanas or Ramayana, there are 3 cities which are described. One is Ayodhya, second is Mithila, third one is Lanka. What is the difference, or what is the common thing first across all 3? Every city is prosperous. If you read Lanka description, everything is made of gold. But only thing is, Ravana would steal it and bring. He goes to Kubera, likes Pushpak Vimana. He says, give it to me. He goes somewhere, finds something attractive. He said, let's bring it to Lanka. On the other hand, look at Ayodhya. Ayodhya is also prosperous. The description which is given in Ramcharitmanas, Mithila and Ayodhya, they say the houses of ministers and houses of ordinary people. It was difficult to know which was whose. Means even ordinary citizens of Mithila had houses which looked like palatial houses. Janak Maharaj's lock is made with gems. Different style, taste they have of prosperity. Everything is there, but there is so much Shraddha. All their attention is on Bhagwan Rama, and the king is Dashrath Maharaj. Mithila Nagari is Jnana Pradhana, knowledge. Janak Maharaj, one who is himself risen above body identification. He is their king. So the common thing is prosperity, but the difference is between dharma and adharma. So Sanatan Dharma never puts down Kama Purushartha, never puts down Artha Purushartha. Only ask is, let it be guided by dharma. How many Purusharthas did we see? 3 of them. Kama, Artha, Dharma. Now the question is, if life is going well between these 3 Purusharthas, why do we have to go to the 4th one? This will be questions others will ask us. If you say you came to this Thanksgiving camp in the midst of everything that other people are doing, they will ask why. And you say, what did you study there? You say, Maneesha Panchakam. So we should have clarity for ourselves. The desire to start on Moksha Purushartha is actually grace of the Lord. Different blessings that we get from Bhagavan, one of the main blessing is a desireless mind. And this quest for something higher. Ishvara anugrahat eva pumsam advaita vasana. Vasana, it is said, means out of several desires, moksha becomes one of his desire. So we should not use too much logic also. He says if we have that desire, that is only possible with Bhagwan's grace. What time do we end? 11:15, right? Okay. I have not even warmed up now. By the time it's already 11 o'clock. So Moksha Purushartha will not come to somebody who has lot of worries. One Mahatmaji would say, when chinta is high, chintanam is low. Chinta means worry. Chintanam means subtle inquiry. If something is worrying this person too much, and then you say, come, let us discuss Atma Anatma Viveka. The first thing they'll have vairagya is from us. So it is Bhagwan's grace if this person's life can become relatively free from worries. It was not magical, How did it become free from worry? Through dharma. By putting his worries at the feet of the Lord, he has come to a conclusion that Bhagwan, no matter what I solve today, there is no permanent solution to any problem. Any problem you take in this world, everything is stopgap arrangement. They have this plumbing fixes, right? Many things which are there, you just get it in a working shape and keep it going. You think about different challenges we have in life, whatever it is. Nature of this body is such, nature of this world is such, there is no permanent solution to any problem. With this grace of Bhagwan, he comes and attends some satsang. Moksha Purushartha, for us to really get started, cannot happen without satsang. Bhaja Govindam, satsangatve nissangatvam. Only when we hear some higher things, only when scriptures point us to some higher goal, we can start walking towards that goal. Otherwise, we are lost. Where do we start? Where do we go? What is the path? So that is the part of Moksha Purushartha. Now, moksha, when we say, if somebody asks you, looking into your eyes, are you seeking moksha? Yes or no? What will you say? Hesitant. I knew it. I knew it. But let me change the question. Looking into your eyes again, Are you seeking happiness? Both are the same, Both are the same. Pursuit for unconditioned happiness is called pursuit for moksha. Unconditioned word is important. Happiness mixed with sorrow, we have it already. We don't have to go somewhere and seek. Puja Guruji calls it as eating a chocolate with a wrapper. In between you have the chocolate flavor coming, but the wrapper also there. It's mixed up. That is our joy. Whatever we are seeking, it has the other side of it. Now Vedanta comes and tells us, think about some joy that is not dependent upon any place. Means, if somebody asks you the question, do you want that happiness which is only there in some place but not there somewhere else? When you go for a vacation, right? Now they have started sending emails, the Kaiser and other firms, how to deal with post-vacation blues. I don't know if you received it, I received one. When you come back, that guilt feeling you have, the stress you have to get back, that is an example of happiness which is conditioned by a place. We were happy there. But the moment you come out, the other thing comes along with it. So Vedanta says there is some happiness which is unconditioned by location. Do we want happiness which is limited to certain time? Morning time, very peaceful, meditation. But the moment there is some sound, moment there is some movement, suddenly that happiness gets disturbed. Actually speaking, that is not Vedantic happiness, which is dependent upon time, dependent upon something else. Or we say, 2 years, difficult time, after that everything will be fine. Do you want that happiness? Or some happiness which is independent of time? Only when I have those people who are very nice to me around me, my own friends, my own near and dear ones, that time I am happy. But there are times when I have to be with other people. Monday to Friday, I have to work outside, and not everybody is somebody whom I can get along with. Do I want that conditioned happiness with people? Or some happiness which is independent of whether this person is there or that person is not there? We are just trying to appreciate what is unconditioned happiness. We can appreciate that only when we think about what is conditioned happiness. A particular place, a particular time, a particular person. Objects also you take, but people are more relatable to us. So Vedanta says there is something which is called as unconditioned happiness. That which we seek, we will not have to seek anything else. We have a human birth, really speaking, only to seek that. All 3 Purusharthas which are mentioned, which are the 3? Kama, Artha, Dharma, are not for its own sake. Bhagavatam, this is the main teaching. Artha Purushartha is not so that Artha becomes more and more and more, and one gets caught up in that same Artha more and more and more. Dharma is also not to go to some other world, have some enjoyment, have some other conducive situation outside. He says all of that is really to lead us to unconditioned happiness. This is the person who is now entering into Moksha Purushartha. But remember, if that word moksha appears to be very technical, replace that word with unconditioned happiness. Puja Guruji has written a book called as Nirdvandva Sukham. Sukham is happiness, Nirdvandva means unconditioned. That which doesn't have duality included in it, that unconditioned happiness is what we are really seeking. Now the technique to reaching that unconditioned happiness. The main ingredient to reach that unconditioned happiness is Mahavakya Vichara. Mahavakya Vichara. What is Mahavakya? We'll come to it. But Maneesha Panchakam is Vedanta in a nutshell, right? So solution also should be in a nutshell. We did not start right from step 1. For that you'll have to attend Tattva Bodha class, Vedanta Sara class. Elaborate description is there. But here it is direct teaching. He says you do Mahavakya Vichara. That Mahavakya Vichara will make us enter this palace of bliss. Now what is Mahavakya? Our all scriptures are based on Vedas. There are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. Out of those 4 Vedas, there are several things which are mentioned in 4 Vedas. Out of that, the essence of 4 Vedas is called as Vedanta. Anta means conclusion. Anta doesn't mean last few pages. Because you can take Anta as that also. What is the Anta of this page? The bibliography, which is on the last page, that is not Anta. Anta means Nishchaya. Nishchaya is what is the final conclusion of Vedas. That is called as Vedanta. Within Vedanta, what is the main teaching of Vedanta? That is called as Mahavakya. Mahavakya, the great statement. English it doesn't do justice. Mahavakya should be Mahavakya. One example given of Mahavakya is of Arani. Arani means what? In olden days, whenever they would light a fire to do yajna, they would not take a lighter, no matchstick, nothing from outside can be brought. So they would have 2 cups of wood which would be tied with a rope on top, and just like you churn buttermilk, olden days, churn buttermilk, like that they would churn the 2 cups. And that friction would be so much, you would get 1 spark after half an hour of that. Even now there are people who do it that way. It's very nice to see. They chant mantras, Agni Suktam they chant, and then they will light this fire. That 1 spark, you have to hold it in a cotton. Cotton or this husk of coconut. Only tiny spark, how much, you cannot light that whole fire with it. Once that becomes a conflagration, then with camphor and ghee, you light that yajna, the firewood which is there. That Arani example is given for Mahavakya. The top block which is there, it's an inquiry into who am I? What is my true nature? Am I this person whom I have very well accepted to be? I take it for granted that I am so and so, father of so and so, son of so and so, having these titles as my profession. Is that really who I am, or is there something more to my personality? Our Chinmaya mission, we came up with one series of episode called as Upanishad Ganga. How many of you have seen it? The Hindi dialogues are very, very powerful. English you cannot do justice. In Mahavakya there is one line, where that Guru is telling Shishya, जो तुझे दिखता है तू वो है नहीं, जो तू है वो तुझे दिखता नहीं. Means what you think you are, that you really are not. And what you are, that you cannot see. Inquiry into that is the top block. Inquiry into who am I, that is the top block. So in Pujya Gurudev's BMI chart, how many of you are not familiar with this? Feel free to raise your hand. Okay, there are some. Let us just see the terms first. This is what we are seeking. That unconditioned happiness which is not having any kind of duality in it. That non-dual truth is this Om. What we are familiar with ourselves, that is this actually. Leave this part. Body, mind and intellect. Whenever we define ourselves, our definition of I is either with regards to body, is I am so tall, male, female, all other identities generally we take is from body. If not body, we come to mind. We say I am a calm person, angry person. All these are identities of the mind. That is who we think we are. If we have developed the art of thinking in some topic, intellect has become stronger. Decisive intellect is there. So either we will define ourselves from an intellect standpoint. And with this, our whole life goes on. Through body, we perceive objects, different objects of the world. Through mind, we feel different emotions which are there. Through intellect, we think, thoughts. Now you see, Dharmic person, emotions are very beautiful. Beautiful mind, we had seen that part, right? Filled with values. Objects that he goes into, those are also very sattvic. And thoughts which are there, they are also very beautiful thoughts. Mind, intellect, generally they are analyzed together. You don't have to distinguish too much. What is emotion, what is thought? Certain emotions are only, thoughts are nothing but certain emotions which are there. You can put it other way also. Some emotions, they are taken from these thoughts only. Okay? Now all of these are common to people, right? We all have a body, we all have a mind, we all have an intellect. But can we say we have the same mind? Can we say we have the same intellect? There is something which distinguishes all of us. That factor which distinguishes all of us is this vasana. Puja Gurudev would call it as blueprint of our personality. What kind of thought will rise in our mind? Nobody can decide. So much so that even we cannot. Think about it, Which thought is going to rise? That thought doesn't even ask us. It just rises. Inquiry into this, inquiring whether, am I this vasana? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Am I this intellect? That inquiry is the top block of Mahavakya. That inquiry is the top arani of Mahavakya. In simple English, it is inquiry into who am I. But remember, the final answer should not fall somewhere here. If after a lot of analysis, we come to this conclusion that I am the person with good vasanas. I am the person with good samskaras. You see that thinking is not complete. The main conclusion should be, I am that consciousness which is witnessing all these changes. Tomorrow's meditation, if you are alert, this will be the main topic. Drik Drishya Viveka. How to distance this consciousness from everything else. Most bothering one is the thoughts. It is mixed up so much that you cannot separate thoughts from consciousness. This technique is something that we will see in meditation. In spite of doing everything, we should remember we are only halfway through. Remember, only the top block is done. Sometimes we feel this is the end of journey. Vedanta journey. Ask this question, who am I? Actually, if you ask this question, who am I, without this vocabulary, we will again land somewhere here only. Either in intellect or in mind. But if we can do it with scriptural support and ask the same question. Bhajagovindam, this question is asked. Kahatvam, who are you? If you ask this question, the answer should come, I am that consciousness. What is the other arani? Second part is also there, the bottom cup is also there. That cup is representative of inquiry into what is this world? What is this world of objects that I am seeing? Inquiry into that is the second part. And when you inquire into this, the answer will be, this world is nothing but the same consciousness. This world is nothing but an appearance in that same consciousness, and there are no two consciousnesses. That same consciousness is substratum of thoughts, body, and intellect. That same consciousness is a substratum of the world. Now if you can say the statement, okay, two statements. Consciousness is substratum of creation. Agree? At least agree on the strength of Shraddha. You might say, I have not studied Upanishad. How do I agree or refute it? You see, if Upanishads are saying consciousness is substratum of creation, easy to accept, right? I am the substratum of creation. I am the substratum of creation. When that becomes clear, that knowledge is called as Mahavakya Jnanam. Whatever is being said for consciousness at totality level, I should be comfortably able to say it for consciousness at individual level. That clarity will be given to us through Mahavakya. And with that, this person will become free from all bondage of these conditionings which are binding him. See, our Mahatmas, they are very skilled, in giving precise teaching. They say, okay, entire Vedanta you have studied, right? Can you summarize it in one, not even one shloka, one line of a shloka? Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, yes. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Not only that, Jeevo Brahma eva naparaha. Third one is also important. The first line is, Brahman alone, this Om alone, is a absolute reality. Satyam means it is absolute. Something which doesn't get contradicted. Even colloquially, that is the definition of Satyam, right? If I make a statement in the morning, or at the beginning of the class, I say, today evening we won't have class. Q&A session. At the end of the class, I say, today evening we are going to have class on Maneesha Panchakam. What will you say to my first sentence? It was not Satyam. Why? Because I myself contradicted it. Whatever gets contradicted, that is not Brahma. The uncontradicted entity, even at the time of Pralaya, when creation gets dissolved, that thing which doesn't get dissolved, that is this Brahma. That is the message of Vedanta. First message, Brahma Satyam. You say Brahma Satyam, but I see so much of duality. World is there, trees are there, building is there, people are there, so many things are there. What is that? You say Jagat Mithya. Whatever is appearing as the world, it is not absolute. It is only an appearance. Don't give more reality to something than it actually deserves. One might ask, why not? Why are you always after this world? If we don't negate the world will eat us up. One Mahatma ji would say this in Hindi, भैया हम जगत के पीछे नहीं पड़े, जगत हमारे पीछे पड़ा है. Means mind, if we give absolute reality, with that mind one cannot be free from sorrow. That's why this Jagat Mithya part is the second teaching of Vedanta. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. But some Brahman is there which is Satyam, which is easy to understand. He says, no, the third one is important. You are that Brahman. Jeevo Brahmaiva naparaha. This Jiva alone is that absolute reality. This thing, when it is understood, he says, message of Vedanta is understood. Now this is Vedanta in a nutshell. Okay? But we have 7 sessions to explore this topic, but we just went over the main ones. Okay? I hope in the discussion sessions you get a chance to again revisit, go through the entire flow. This is called as Vichara. Okay, we were discussing this morning. Going backwards, Viparita charanam is vichara. You are at point B now. Go back to point A. How did we come to Mahavakya? Moksha Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Prakrutika Yoni, horse, and then go back to Vedanta in a nutshell. Do you know what I am going to tell you? Yes and no. Okay. All topics should be clear, front to end and then backwards. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.